Are you willing to believe a lie if it saves you? Joel Miller, the man who deceived the world to save love. Imagine living in a world where every breath, every choice, every tear comes at a price. Now, a question: how far would you go to keep someone you love alive? Joel Miller isn't just a survivor. He's a legend who blurred the line between hero and monster, a man who trampled every moral boundary to keep a lie alive. But why? Because sometimes, the truth is deadlier than any infection. Was he selfish? Did his love turn toxic? Or was he the only one brave enough to burn the world just to save a single flame? In this video, we dissect Joel's deepest psychological wounds, from the shattering of his soul after Sarah's death to the moment he raised his gun for Ellie and surrendered civilization. This analysis is so brutally honest that you might never see The Last of Us the same way again. Stay till the end, because we're about to defend a monster. We tend to connect more with characters whose traits and qualities differ from their true essence. In other words, the contrast between the character's outward persona and their inner self creates a multidimensional and compelling personality. Joel is one of the most morally gray, realistic, and profoundly human characters ever created in the world of video games, and this very quality makes the work so engaging. Joel's characterization is such that, at first glance, he appears infinitely brave and courageous. However, if we look deeper into his inner dimensions, we realize that while he consistently proves himself to be fearless and bold throughout the story, he is also deeply fearful. Undoubtedly, this claim may come as a surprise. How can a character who fearlessly charges into danger and faces hordes of enemies without hesitation be considered a coward? The question then arises: what could possibly instill fear and dread in his heart? This assertion does not require lengthy explanations to prove, as Joel indirectly admits his fear and vulnerability multiple times throughout the story out of sheer helplessness. All we need to do is listen to his confessions and reflect on them for a moment. Years have passed since the death of Joel's little girl, and every second of those years has been nothing but pain and torment for him. Throughout all that time, he has been no different from the monsters beyond the walls, merely existing rather than truly living. The only way to distinguish between a living human being and one who just survives is to see what that person fights for in life. What is it that, just by thinking about it, can easily instill fear and anxiety in their heart and drive them to do whatever it takes? For 20 years, Joel lived in agony, and the death of his daughter, Sarah, planted the fear of loss in his heart and turned it into his daily nightmare. Now, he is terrified of forming attachments. He is deeply afraid. Like Ellie, we too find ourselves asking, what is he so afraid of? Why does he go to such lengths to rid himself of Ellie? His broken, motionless watch, its silence, its lack of ticking, serves as a constant reminder of the bitter memories of the past 20 years, shielding him from the possibility of falling in love again. Joel chose to spend the rest of his life in the shadow of fear, running from love and attachment. In this terrible world, More than anything, he was terrified of Ellie. He sought every possible way to get rid of her. Delivering Ellie to the hospital felt to him like carrying a ticking bomb, one that could explode at any moment, shattering the iron walls he had built around his heart over 20 years. It threatened to give him something to fight for, something to fear losing all over again. This internal struggle reaches its peak when the brave, proud man of our story finally confesses his overwhelming terror to a 12-year-old girl. "You are not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad." Behind these words lies a painful, bitter truth, an unspoken reality that screams of this man's fear and dread.
Hands in the air!
She's not breathing.
Hands in the fucking air!
Come on, man.
The truth is that we all live in suffering until the end of our days. There is no escape from it. At best, we are sometimes given the choice between things that make our suffering a little more bearable. The choice between living in the shadow of fear, alone and tormented by our refusal to love, or allowing ourselves to care for someone and embracing the sacred pain of potential loss. That choice is entirely ours. By the end of the story, Joel surrenders to Ellie's love and, after 20 years, truly returns to life. But now, he is gripped by a new terror, the fear of losing Ellie. No longer does he see her as a ticking bomb. Instead, she becomes someone he would do anything for. Yet the trauma of his past refuses to let go. The fear of losing Ellie becomes his new nightmare, driving him to protect her at any cost. This new fear forces our once proud protagonist to once again confess his terror. "We don't have to do this. Let's just go back." In this moment, Joel indirectly pleads with Ellie to turn back, to ease, even momentarily, the crushing weight of his fear. In well-structured stories, characters rarely act in ways that are truly illogical or out of nowhere. Throughout the journey, we witness Joel's desperate attempts to distance himself from Ellie. And yet, near the end, we hear him say, "I'm not leaving you behind." At first, this might seem like an irrational, emotionally charged outburst, a reckless declaration. But by the story's conclusion, when we see Joel's final decision, we realize just how inevitable it was. His words were never empty. They were the truest reflection of his heart.
Fuck me! He's over there!
If you've read Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment you're surely aware that the punishment tormenting the novel's protagonist, Raskolnikov, is his own guilt. Joel, however, does not harbor the slightest doubt about the decision he made in the hospital and boldly declares that if he were sent back in time, he would do it all over again. From this statement, it becomes clear that Joel feels no remorse whatsoever for the crime he committed against humanity. For Ellie, Joel doesn't just commit a single crime, he does so repeatedly, even slaughtering an entire hospital to save her. A meaningful and authentic choice is not between good and evil, because those concepts are irreconcilable. You might think Joel's choice was simple, that if he hadn't been selfish, he could have saved both his own future and that of humanity. On the surface, the decision seems straightforward, one life versus millions. But for Joel, choosing the right path, sacrificing Ellie, would have meant returning to his 20-year exile, failing to protect someone he loved, reverting to being a hollow shell of a man, and, ultimately, facing a kind of death. His choice was never between morality and immorality, but between two forms of destruction. And in the end, he chose the one that allowed him to keep living, truly living, for the first time in decades.
Sweet Jesus.
Doctor?
What are you doing in here? I won't let you take her. This is our future. Think of all the lives we'll save.
No! Fucking animal!
Carrie, shut the hell up.
Please. I don't want to die. Oh, God.
Come on, baby girl. I got you. I got you. Oh, shit.
He's carrying her toward pediatrics. Get up here, now!
Shit.
He's over here!
I'm getting you out of here, girl.
The hardest part of writing a story is crafting an ending that feels both logical and satisfying, one that leaves no room for the audience to imagine anything beyond it. The ending of The Last of Us and Joel's decision strike us as entirely convincing and justified, especially in that final hospital escape scene where Joel kills even a man who was already bleeding out, all to protect Ellie's life. Joel had no other choice. How could he have lived with himself after handing Ellie over to those who intended to sacrifice her? The true impact of great stories often sinks in only after they end, when we spend hours reflecting on the climactic final act and the protagonist's choice, putting ourselves in their shoes. What would any of us have done in Joel's place? Would we, like him, cling fiercely to the reason we found to live and commit such a terrible act to preserve it? Or would we bury ourselves alongside the meaning of our existence?
You can't save her. Even if you get her out of here, then what? How long before she's torn to pieces by a pack of clickers? That is, if she hasn't been raped and murdered first.
It ain't for you to decide.
It's what she'd want. And you know it. Look. You can still do the right thing here. She won't feel anything.
What the hell am I wearing?
Just take it easy. Drugs are still wearing off.
What happened?
We found the fireflies. Turns out there's a whole lot more like you, Ellie. People that are immune. There's dozens, actually. Ain't done 'em a damn bit of good, neither. They've actually... They've stopped looking for a cure. I'm taking us home. I'm sorry.
Wait! Let me go.